In not even 5 minutes in this Power Ranch neighborhood, we saw e-bike riders flying through this intersection. Young riders not wearing helmets, some bikes carrying 2 or 3 people. Now, this is the same neighborhood that not only saw a targeted enforcement campaign by police, but a crash with serious injuries just yesterday.
You name it, we've seen it.
From stitches to ICU admissions, Dr. Anthony Pickett is the Associate Director of Trauma at Phoenix Children's Hospital. He says when it comes to crashes involving e-bikes, they've seen it all.
In all honesty, it's heartbreaking because we all know in the emergency department when we see these children, they're having the best day of their life until they're having the worst day of their life.
In an effort to prevent these dangerous crashes, Gilbert police conducted an e-bike enforcement operation in the Power Ranch community. On May 20th, police say they made 6 arrests, including 2 parents, and towed 11 e-bikes and e-motorcycles. But not even 2 weeks later, in the same area Saturday morning, police say a man riding an e-bike without a helmet ran a red light, slammed into a car, and was seriously hurt.
When you have a vehicle that does 50, 60, 70 miles an hour and there's no regulations on it, there's going to be things that are going to happen.
Thomas Loria lives in Gilbert. He tells me reckless riding is surging in this community, and with that, more crashes.
I've personally seen 3 kids hit vehicles on the road, like busy roads like this.
Loria even taking his own child's e-bike away in an effort to protect him.
I parked that thing, and it hasn't moved since.
He and Dr. Pickett pleading to parents to stay vigilant and to recognize it only takes 1 second for everything to turn upside down.
So the faster things go, the harder children will hit whatever they hit if they collide with something, and thereby suffering more risk of serious injury.
An important note here, there's a difference between e-bikes and e-motorcycles. E-motorcycles are faster, more powerful, and don't have working pedals. And because of that, they have to be registered and insured just like a regular motorcycle. Now, Gilbert police created a chart breaking down the differences and the requirements for each. We have that linked under this web story at azfamily.com. Reporting in Gilbert, I'm Molly McBride for Arizona's Family.